Good evening, everybody. It is Tuesday. It is time for Bible study. I need you to drop some fire emojis in the chat. Where are my big energy people at? I need y'all to get excited about tonight. I'm super grateful for each and every one of you. Hey, y'all know the drill. I shouldn't even have to repeat myself. Y'all know what time it is. Wherever you're checking in at, let me know what set you claim, what side of town you rolling in from, what city, whatever case. We want to hear from you. We're super grateful that we have people from all walks of life that get a chance to jump into our Bible studies, even our live stream, and become a part of the family on a regular basis. And so, once again, let me know where you're checking in from. Rep your set one time for the one time. You never know who else riding with you. You never know who else riding on your side of town. And so we were super grateful for you and what God is up to in your particular lives and in cities. And so thank you for everybody that's a part of our Light of the World family. And so we are doing our due diligence. I make sure that while I'm talking, make sure I'm doing my share part. So while you're checking in, also hit that like button, hit that subscribe button to my YouTube family. But then also hit that share button. Yeah, I need you to make sure you're doing your due diligence and sharing what we have going on, and make sure that you are loving on those that may be close to you but far from God. So hit that share button for me one time, for the one time, so that way we can make sure we're reaching out and touching bases with as many people as possible. So I'm about to make sure I do what I'm called to do, hitting this share piece on our for our Facebook family as well. So I can do this and get ready to set the stage for where we're going to tonight. So even for my people watching via the app, you have the ability to share that link with somebody as well. So you're not excluded from this opportunity to be able to make sure we touch bases with whoever and wherever, while we're managing these opportunities to love on our city, our nation, our tri-state area. So make sure I do this for our Facebook people. We're doing this now. So once again, thank y'all for being so obedient and being a part of this. I'm super grateful to God for you, and for what God is up to, and how he's continuously doing some things in the lives of our people. God is continuously expanding and enlarging our territory, and I'm super grateful for that, because God, watch this, he didn't have to do it. Let's go old school. He didn't have to do it, but he did. And so the fact that he still picks and chooses me for such an event, such an assignment, I'm grateful for that, because he definitely could have bypassed me and went a different direction. And he had every right to. So that being said, hey, we've been talking prayer over the past several weeks. I pray that you have been receiving something from our series. We're in our back to the altar series, so we've been navigating this piece. And then at the same time, if you missed out on the message from this past weekend, it was our graduation Sunday. I made it through without crying, and so we did our "Don't Stop Till You Get Enough" in honor of our graduates, but in alignment with our prayer series as well. If you missed that, I'm dropping that in the chat. Prayerfully you didn't miss it, but just in case, we're gonna go ahead and make sure that we bring you up to speed as well. Please make sure you go back and watch all of that, as we just kind of, like I said, we've been navigating over prayer, so it's hard to not get both Sundays and our Tuesdays while I'm teaching on prayer, because the two are not mutually exclusive. I told you, you know how I operate. I got to make sure I brain dump everything at the same time. So I'm not doing something different on Tuesdays than I am on Sundays, typically when I'm in a series. So because we're talking prayer on Sundays, talking prayer on Tuesdays. And so right now we have been discussing types of prayer. The past Tuesday, this is the last Tuesday, we talked types of prayer and what that looks like and how that operates. And we'll see how far we get over the next couple of weeks as well, as we just kind of hitting the ground running and navigating this space. So that being said, let's get ready to go to work. So the first level of prayer that we kind of discussed is something called communion. So communion it's a prayer fellowship. That's is literally what it is. It's a prayer fellowship, and we just kind of navigate. It's the foundation. That's a good place. That's a good word for saying it. It's not a lesser type of prayer. It's foundational. It's a necessary prayer. We were reminded First Thessalonians that you are to pray without ceasing. In other words, you never stop praying. It's part of what we do. It is a continual thing. With watch this with communion, we are shifting you from maybe just saying thank you in the morning when you wake up, or when you bless your food, or now I lay me down to sleep. We're shifting from that, and watch this, and praying when you're only in trouble. We're shifting from all of that to simply having regular conversations with God. Watch this. God shouldn't be the last person you call. Yeah, in fact, he should be the first person. That's why we talk about praying in the morning. Verse 15. Yeah, he should be the first person that you touch bases with. But before you kiss your spouse, before you yell at kids, it's God, let me adore, we're gonna talk adoration in a minute. God, I want to thank you, God, because of who you are. God, I honor you because you're worthy. God, I lift you up. The goal is to have such a relationship with him that when you call on him when you're in trouble, that's not the first time y'all talked. Preach, Mike. Yeah, when you talk, when you hit him up when you are in trouble, it's not the first time y'all had a conversation, because you're in regular communication and you're in regular conversation. It's communion. So that's our first type of prayer. Our second type that we discussed that we didn't finish, which I will hit tonight, is prayer of thanksgiving or adoration. So that's the second level, that second type rather, that we want to make sure that we are addressing and discussing, because with uh adoration should be part of our regular conversation. Um your communication with God should start with prayer. I mean, excuse me, start with praise. You should have some type of praise in there. Adoration. Our Father, which art in heaven, hallowed would be thy name. It's adoration, understanding the magnitude of God. Is recognizing that position. Prayers of adoration simply means we exalt, we esteem, we bless, we honor his name. We reflect upon his character. You speak to his holiness, his goodness, his love, his mercy, his power, his grace, his dominion. You speak to all of that during your prayers of adoration. And so where we kind of hit a bump in the road, because I asked the question and I said I was going to come back to this. What do you do when you're mad at God? Yeah, because you have watched this. You haven't been saved long enough if you've never been mad at God. Come here. Yeah, what do you do when you don't watch this? If you don't feel like adoration, then how can you adore? Because adoration is a major word. And so what do you do when you and God aren't seeing eye to eye? When there's some issues, and if you don't adore him, catch this. Don't lie talking about God, I adore you. Maybe your prayer should be, God, create in me a clean heart. Oh, yeah, help me to break through this period of frustration. Those who are married, and if your spouse does something that you don't agree with, maybe y'all just ain't talking today, or maybe them conversations are a little bit short. Yeah, conversation a little bit more quiet than normal, because you just not feeling each other because of whatever the situation. You ain't going nowhere. You like, nope, I'm here. I just don't like you right now. There's some issues. And so it's the same thing with adoration. God, I still love you. God, I still I still magnify you. I still believe in your role, in I believe in your role as God, and your role in my life. But right now, I'm frustrated. God, right now, I got a chip on my shoulder. God, you did some things that I thought that you wouldn't have done, or God, watch it, or God, you didn't do some things I thought you were going to do, that I just knew you were going to do, and you didn't show up like I thought you would. And so now I'm frustrated, I'm mad. And so how do you handle that part? That's the piece I said I want to pick up on, because watch this. Job's name is synonymous with with the individual who had multiple issues happening in his life, and it seemed unfair, in the sense that Job didn't he wasn't a dope dealer. Job was not a dope boy. Job wasn't out here sleeping around. Job wasn't skimming off the top. He wasn't scamming people. He wasn't watching Job. Job wasn't a booster. Job was just living his life. Just living his life, trying to live his life like it's golden. That's all Job was trying to do. Job's name comes up in a conversation between God and the devil. Read your Bible. He said his name pops up. Devil walks in. God asks the devil what he's doing. He said, "I'm just walking the earth, seeing whose lives I can frustrate, seeing whose lives I can interfere in." And so God recommends Job. Have you considered my servant Job? Y'all know the story. And so the devil never requested him. God recommended him. And so it's the fact God saw something in Job. I don't have time to preach that part. God saw something in Job for that honored him having a recommendation for a better position. And I would love to tell you that Job passed the test with flying colors immediately. This is the part we don't preach. Yeah, I would love to skip to the end of Job to tell you how good Job handled the test that came to his life. Job lost his money. He lost his family. He lost his health. And I would love to tell you that in the process of all of this happening, Job was good. Like that Job was just rocking with God, and everything just lined up the way it should have. And Job was like, "All right, God, I'm good. For God I live, for God I die." And that was, the immediate conversation. Because watch this, Job loses everything, and you in your mind you want to say Job was able to adore God in the midst of that. Watch this. I can't post the entire passage in the chat, but let me give you Job. Here's a great place to read. Job chapter 3, verses 1 through 26. At your leisure, take a gander at this conversation that Job has, because watch this. Job 3 verse 1 says, this is post Job losing all these things happening in his life. It says, "At last Job spoke, and he cursed the day of his birth. He said, 'Let the day of my birth be erased, and the night I was conceived. Let that day be turned to darkness. Let it be lost, even to God on high. Let no light shine on. Let the darkness and utter gloom claim that day for its own. Let a black cloud overshadow it. Let the darkness terrify it. Let that night be blotted off the calendar.'" You see the theme that's happening with Job here. He's going through. He's like, "This cursed the day that I was born." He said, I don't even know why I'm here." He's like, "Curse the day I was born." He's like, I wish that day didn't even exist. Come here. No, why don't nobody preach this part of Job? And we don't get mad at Job, because watch this, Job needed a minute. Come here, grief recovery. Yeah, Job needed a minute, because watch this, Job 3 is a long way to get to Job 42. Yeah, it's a long way from each other. Job 3 and Job 42, there's some distance. Job needed a moment to get some things off his chest. Be angry, yet sin not. Come here. Job had some things to get off his chest. And now here's the piece this is the piece I do love. Because if you're bad enough to step to God, if you feeling yourself to the point where you just go run up on God and let him know. Because once again, if you've been saved long enough, you've had this turmoil. So if you're bad enough to step to God, don't be mad when he stepped back to you. Yeah, don't trip when he comes back to you, because in Job 38, another area to navigate at your leisure. Job 38, you get God's response. Because what's so crazy, God lets him talk. God lets it, okay, get that off your chest. Get it all out. Whatever your issues are. He said, get that off your chest. I'm gonna let you vent for a minute. Because I understand you need a moment. Yeah, what you went through it's not to be minimized. Let's not be tripped. Let's not trip about it. Job 38 says, then the Lord answered Job from the whirlwind. He says, who is this that questions my wisdom with such ignorant words? Who you talking to? That's Pastor Mike translation. Who you think you talking to? You better take that bass out your chest. He says, who is this that questions my wisdom with such ignorant words? He says, brace yourself like a man, verse 3, because I have some questions for you and you must answer them. He said, if you gonna come talk that talk. This is, you have to imagine God clapping back at Job after he let Job get this thing off his chest. He says, brace yourself. He said, where were you when I laid the foundations of the earth? Tell me if you know so much. Yeah, who determined its dimensions and stretched out the surveying line? He said, where were you when I started this? He said, where were you when I was putting all this stuff together? As the morning stars sang and the angels shouted, who kept the sea inside its boundaries as it burst from the womb? Oh, God is so cold-blooded. I encourage you to read this. And so Job loses his kids, his money, his health, all at the same time. Here's the piece I want you to understand. He has to find his adoration. Yeah, that's deep. He has to find it. Because when we talk about prayers of adoration, Job had to get to a place where he had to get back to the place of adoration. That's what I said. Maybe your prayer is, God, created me a clean heart. God, help me break through this moment, God, with my frustration. Prayer isn't just about saying what you think God wants to hear. It has to come from a pure place. So even when you're mad at God, you have to be able to express that. But please, understand, God may check you in some areas. He's still, because he's still God. The same way you if you come to your parents in a certain manner, they're like, which one of these bills did you pay this month? Yeah, who how much did you put on Duke? Yeah, how go turn the faucet on. Let it be known whether it was by your authority or mine. Yeah, so understand that he may clap back, but it doesn't change your feelings. And so that's why Jesus says, come unto me, all you that are weary and heavy laden. He says, and I'll give you rest. Yeah, he said, all you that are frustrated, he said, I understand what you're going through. He said, hey, I got some rest for you. And so and it's a trip because we just got some news on a story of individual losing his life recently, and in the midst of protecting his daughter, she's injured. And I'm tripping. I'm like, God, how can you manage this? And now, his wife has to come in and how can she adore God in the midst of that news? Anything happens to my babies, watch it. It's gonna take a minute. I'm gonna sit. Let me sit for a minute. Let me handle this. Let me share this real quick as it relates to grieving, because whenever I'm doing funerals or have to walk with somebody in that stage of life, I always tell them, don't let nobody tell you it's gonna be all right, because right now it ain't. Yeah, don't tell them. Don't let nobody tell you this. Yeah, it's gonna be all right. No, it ain't right now. It ain't right now. It ain't. Take that time to grieve properly. Jesus grieved, so that means I'm allowed to grieve. When Jesus lost his partner Lazarus, Jesus wept. Watch this. Jesus grieved knowing he's about to get him out the grave. He knew what was coming and still had sadness. So it's understanding that you take that moment to grieve. And so we deal with this idea of adoration and walking with God in this process. Sometimes it takes time to get back to a place of adoration, depending on what you're going through. So now our next one, our next type of prayer. Let's now shift gears a little bit. Watch this: prayer or supplication. That's where I wanna touch on now. So prayer or supplication. So with prayer or supplication, this is a good word of saying this is my gimme list. You are allowed to ask for what you want. Yeah, don't let's not get so holy that we don't ever get to ask God what it is that we need God to do. At some point in time, we need to get to that place. Prayers of petition or supplication are also these are requests that include our personal needs and the needs of others. So, and we'll talk intercessory separately, but sometimes in my requests, I'm asking for God to do something on somebody else's behalf, and not necessarily intercession to show up in their life to help block. So we'll get to that. But however, I'm asking God to fulfill some needs in my life and somebody else's life. In our petitions, we ask God for whatever needs that concern us. So that may be physical, it may be psychological. God, I need you to heal my mind. It may be spiritual. God, help me get out this rut. It may be emotional. God, I don't want to be depressed anymore. God, I don't want to be sad. God, help me address these feelings that I'm wrestling with. So this prayer of petition or supplication allows me to once again petition, to ask for God to show up in these areas. Who Because you have to really ask yourself when we talk about asking God for physical, spiritual, emotional, psychological, who can find themselves on that list. Yeah, because never judge people because their needs are different than yours. Yeah, just because you watch this, just because you don't need God to help fix your finances, don't mean He don't need to fix your emotions. Why are you angry all the time? Yeah, why you always got attitude? What's wrong? Who hurt you? Do you need a hug? What's the problem? And so somebody else may need their rent paid, but they happy than a mug. They may need their rent to be paid, but oh, you can't take their joy away. They excited about what God is up to. So never judge people because of their needs, and their needs being different than yours, because we all have different needs. And so watch this. Ephesians 6:18. Here's gonna be a good one. All right, so Ephesians 6:18. Here's what I'm gonna give you real quick. So now uh it says, with all prayer and petition, pray at all times in the spirit. We dealt with this a little bit on Pentecost Sunday, but I wanted to shift from a different perspective. So it says, with all prayer and petition, highlight petition, pray at all times in the spirit, and with this in view, be on the alert with all perseverance and petition for all the saints. And so a petition, just as it is in the political arena, is a request to a sovereign to take some action. I'm sending a petition for you to come make a move on our behalf, to do something. I'm requesting. Any request made of God is thus a petition. Is whether I need God to pay rent, um, heal my body, heal my mind. This is a petition. God, I need you to do this. And there's nothing wrong with prayers of petition. Just understand that you should be asking. We just dealt with this on Sunday. Ask and you shall receive. Seek and you shall find. Knock and the door shall be answered. Petition. And so it's just when I petition, I'm asking for something. The most familiar petition text is going to be, once again, watch this. Luke 11 says, give us this day our daily bread. Also in Matthew 6, give us this day our daily bread. That's a petition. Forgive us our sins as we forgive others. Do not lead me into temptation, but deliver me from evil. Um, Watch this. Your daily bread is a house note. Your daily bread is enough gas to get to the nearest gas station. Come here, somebody. Where are my real people at? With gas, God, gas is high as all out, as high as all outdoors. And don't I wear okay. I understand some of my electric vehicle people don't remember this moment. But there's been times where your gas tank was on easy. Yeah, it was past the light, and you were like, okay, God, um, I think we can make it to this next station. God, oh, we're okay. Don't you leave me out here. If you've ever been in your car and that gas tank was on E and you prayed to the next station, God, let us make it. God, do what you got to do. God, let's get to the. God, just give me a couple more miles. God, give me a couple more. And God let you coast into that thing, so that you can get some gas. Watch this. That is your daily bread. God, give us this day my daily bread. Let me get enough gas to get to the nearest gas station. My daily bread. Your daily bread may be patience. God, don't let me go postal up in this place today. God, my daily bread. Daily bread may be peace. God, just let me just give me a second, God, to not have no problems. God, give me 24 hours. God, give me 24 hours with nobody saying my name, with no problems, with no issues. Give me 24 hours. My daily bread. God, restore my joy. Restore the joy of my salvation. Daily bread, asking, petition, needing God to show up and do whatever He needs you to do. Because once again, there's nothing wrong with the petition. Watch this. I'm gonna give you another one. Philippians 4. You know, this is one of my favorite verses. Um, so Philippians 4. Let me show I'm putting this in the chat for you. So now watch this. So Philippians 4 says, be anxious for nothing. Don't worry about anything, but in everything by prayer and supplication with thanksgiving. Come here. I got it. Oh, come here. So now be anxious for nothing. Don't worry about anything. Pray about everything. But in everything by prayer and supplication with thanksgiving, let your requests be made known to God. How much more Bible y'all want? let me know. I summed up prayer of supplication all in one verse. I gave you one verse of Philippians 4. He said, be anxious for nothing. Don't stop worrying. Stop worrying so much. He says, but in everything by prayer. In fact, do me a favor, type in the chat right there. It's stop worrying. Put stop worrying in the chat. And it's gonna be twofold. I need you to put it in there for yourself, but then also put it in for your neighbor. Yeah, your spiritual neighbor in the chat. To put stop worrying. He says, stop worrying in Philippians 4. Be anxious for nothing. He says, but in everything by prayer and supplication with thanksgiving. In other words, I'm thanking Him before it's already done. Come here, Oregon. Let's get this thing popping. Yeah, be anxious for nothing, but in everything by prayer and supplication with thanksgiving, let your requests be made known to God. He said, ask Him. Go ahead and put it out there. Whatever it is that you need God to do, He says, go ahead and ask me. He said, why are you tripping so much? I'm gonna give you the Message translation. Usually I speak to my New Living Translation. That's the one that says, worry about nothing, pray about everything. Let me give you the Message Bible. Message Bible is also gonna hit a little bit different. Because I need you to understand what this looks like. So Message Translation says, don't fret or worry. Instead of worrying, pray. Come here. He says, let petitions and praises shape your worries into prayers, letting God know your concerns. This is so good. This is why you paid the price of admission tonight. He says, don't fret or worry. Stop tripping so much. Calm down. Be cool. God got it. He says, instead of worrying, pray. He gave you an alternative. He said, let your petitions and praises shape your worries into prayers. Because one of the things you can't do, you can't praise and worry at the same time. It's not possible. I can't thank God for how good He is and worry about how stuff's going to get handled. I have to depend on Him to be able to do that. So He says, stop worrying. He says, He says, go ahead and come into prayer. Based on this, I must replace worry with prayer and thanksgiving. Tell God what you need and thank Him for all He's done. That's it. We talk our foundation model of prayer, our ACTS prayer model, ACTS, adoration, confession, telling on myself, thanksgiving, thanking God for what He's already done, supplication, S, asking God for what you need. And so tell God what you need, thank Him for everything He's done. If it's beyond, watch this, if it is beyond your capacity to fix, you're supposed to turn it over to Jesus and then go to sleep. Stop being up all night worrying about stuff you can't handle. I preach that to myself. Lady Keisha has to remind me. Yeah, stop tossing and turning all night on things that you can't fix yourself. Go to bed. Why you got anxiety and up all night? Just so you can be tired tomorrow. Go to sleep. Take a nap. Stop tripping. So the song lyrics, the lyricist says, "Oh, what peace we often forfeit. Oh, what needless pain we bear. All where my old school church at? All because we do not carry everything to God in prayer." I can't give y'all nothing else tonight. We gonna end with supplication because we gonna shout. Because watch it, because prayers of petition should be intentional on our part for the purpose of appropriating God's gifts and resources in order for us to fulfill his purposes. So um let me give you this. James 4. James 4. This is gonna help with your asks. Because James 4, a second, let me put all of it in here. So I have to double it up in my YouTube chat. So James 4, verses 2 and 3. He says, "You lust and you do not have. You murder and you covet and cannot obtain." He says, "You fight and you war, and yet you do not have because you do not ask." Petition. Verse 3 says, "And then you ask when you do ask, and you do not receive, is because you ask amiss, that you may spend it on your pleasures." In other words, you ask and you ask wrong. This is good. This is not the idea that you can't ask for stuff that you enjoy. I don't want you to miss that. And there's two extremes of this, because on one end, you have those that want to be so holy that they don't ask God for things that they find pleasurable. If you want a new car, ask for a new car. But it's a different ask. The only reason why I'm asking for the car is because I want to stunt on my sister who just bought one herself. Preach, Mike. Yeah, stunting is a habit. So if I'm asking just because I wanna make sure I'm keeping up with the rest of the Joneses, it says then you ask amiss, wrong motives. He said that's the reason why God didn't answer. That's why you went into debt. Because he's a God wasn't honored in that. But if you're asking because, hey, God, I want another car. On top of the fact that the one I have now is on its last leg and is struggling. And God, I know you're able to do some stuff. And God, use this for the benefit of so I can help be a blessing to somebody else. So now watch this. Oh man, let's see how far we get. So now we've been in our current house for I think 7 years in that roughly. And so our previous house, it's starting getting smaller soon because when we first moved to our first house, it was just me and Lady Keisha. Wasn't no kids. Those dependents showed up. Where my parents at? Those dependents showed up and took over all of our space. And so we started being on top of each other. And not mind you, when we first were together, we thought our first house was a mansion. It wasn't that big. We thought our first house was a mansion because it was just us. So the dependents came in, swallowed up space, and so we're like, okay, we need another house. In the process of getting another house, we said, okay, God, you grant us this house. God will make sure that we use it for ministry. That's always been our prayer. So when people ask us why we open up our doors to allow people, strangers, sometimes people we've never met prior to, them coming to our house for the first time from premarital counsel, whatever, people ask us why we would share our address. I was like, God got us. We ain't worried from that standpoint. But watch this. God allowed us to be here. Yeah, it was God's hand on us that allowed us to be in the house that we're in. And so how can I not turn this around so that he can get glory out of it? We say, no, God, you open this door for us. No, God, you use this for ministry. So if watch this, if you invite me to your house to bless your house, That's part of my prayer, that your house gets used for just you sleeping and eating in. Let it be used for God's glory, and whatever that looks like. So now back to our regular scheduled programming. Prayers of petition should be intentional on our behalf. And so the difference is when it's all about you, because there's a whole lot going on in this world other than you. So God, when he talks about asking amiss, the verb ask is in the middle voice, meaning ask for yourself. The purpose clause that follows this further clarifies that you spend what you get on your pleasures. This is what he's wrestling with in James. He said, because you're asking for you. Yeah, simply so you can squander, simply so you can look good out here for everybody else. How you trying to look good for people you don't even like? Come here. And so part of even what I do now in my prayer is check your motives. When you ask, even before you ask, check your motives. Part of my prayer time, even in my ask, God, let me know, let my motives be right in why I'm asking. Let my heart be in alignment for you, because I don't care how long you've been in church. Sometimes your motives can shift. Yeah, it's possible. They can shift. God, let my motives be right. Let me make sure I'm doing this out of the right space. Let me make sure I'm doing this not just for likes, that not to get a rise out of it. Let me make sure I'm doing this in the right manner. Because if you set selfish goals, you would be better off spiritually if you didn't accomplish them. The battle doesn't belong to you. It belongs to God. And because the battle doesn't belong to you, watch this, neither does the glory. And so it has to be God that gets honored out of it. So I gotta make sure I'm positioning myself that I'm asking correctly and in the right frame of mind, and make sure that God is pleased in the process. And so now I'm a long time now, so I know we'll pick up from this standpoint coming into next Tuesday, because next Tuesday we'll deal with intercession. That's what we'll get into, how you pray to help things get blocked on behalf of other people and the things that they're wrestling with. And so we'll talk intercession, we'll talk corporate prayer. Yeah, we'll jump into this now, into the space in terms of these other types of prayer that you're able to pray. I pray that this has blessed you tonight, that God has shown you some stuff and opened up some doors that you didn't recognize or realize prior to this evening. So I'm super thankful to God. Hey, do me a favor, make sure if you didn't get a chance to share this Bible study with somebody that you think may need it, that's navigating some space in their life where they're just frustrated with God, or just trying to figure out how to talk to God, and trying to get to a good place with God. So we want to make sure that they're doing that. And then this Sunday, baptism. If you and or somebody you know needs to get baptized, sign up today. You can go to the app. It's under our events tab. Make sure you get a chance to sign up for baptism. It's a pool. We having a pool party and everybody's invited. We want to make sure that you get a chance to come out on Sunday. I'm wrapping up our series Back to the Altar on Sunday, so we wanted to make sure that you are part of that as well. So we're going to have a great time on Sunday, wrapping up the series, baptism following service. Pathways will be back in action. So if you haven't had a chance to start our Pathways classes in person, that starts back on Sunday as well. So come be a part of that and get connected into what God has in store for your life. Hey, and while you're at it, invite 50, 11 people with you. Don't stop coming by yourself. Yeah, friends don't let friends church alone. You know somebody who don't go nowhere. Drag them with you. Tell them you're gonna give them breakfast, and we got bagels. That's it. Tell them you got breakfast. Breakfast is on you, and we'll make sure we got some bagels with some cream cheese. So we got you. Hey, I love you. Hug me when you see me. I'll talk.